Trump's targeting of universities is just one of the major political headlines this week. Joining us now, host of the Political Report, Paul Lisnek.
Hi, guys. Another busy week.
Another busy week. Let's start with the deportations. Just earlier tonight, a federal appeals court put off for the moment a plan by a trial judge to open contempt proceedings to determine whether the Trump administration violated the laws when he deported all the migrants to El Salvador.
Right. So that's the 10th Circuit, very powerful court. That's a feeder court to the Supreme Court. But essentially what happened was, you may remember, it's a week ago now or more, where Judge Boasberg stepped in and said, those planes you have going off to El Salvador, turn them around, bring them back. That's what this is all about.
That was a Friday night too,
Exactly. So yeah, it always happens for Friday night. Well, anyway, so the latest news tonight is that Boasberg, who earlier had said he sees reason for a criminal contempt proceeding to proceed, the administration immediately took that up, and so that's the decision you're referring about, the 10th Circuit. Now, there's also, I don't know if that's one of them, there's things going before the U.S. Supreme Court on an emergency basis tonight. So who knows? Before we're off the air, the Supreme Court may speak to some of this as well.
Along those same lines regarding Kilmer Abrego Garcia, it has been a lot has been made about due process. What have been your takeaways when it comes to that case and where law sits?
So, and for him, of course, that's where Senator Van Hollen went out, sat with him, and it made it look like they were sitting poolside, having the margaritas and everything else. And I would pretty much put most money on that was a setup in terms of what they wanted it to look like for our view. That's certainly not the conditions he's staying in. But the point is, this is about due process. You know what I always tell, I've been talking about this now for weeks for our viewers, which is my point of view. This is not about should he be out of the country? Does he belong here? But there's accusations that he, abused his wife and all. This just isn't about that. This is about, as you said, Ray, due process. That everybody in this country, you, me, viewers, we all are entitled to due process. The worst
even
thing
if they're undocumented, anybody who's here, right?
They have rights when they're here.
Right.
And even if it meant that Garcia comes back and has a hearing and a judge determines that he needs to be deported, then off he goes again. But all of the yelling and screaming would stop because then he's had the hearing he gets. Right now, I mean, imagine how fearful it would be if you got picked up by the police, put in a jail cell, and weren't allowed to call anybody, weren't allowed to do anything, and got no hearing, and we just decided, no, you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. What?
Yeah, do you think
that's what the kind of thing that's going on with this.
Did Van Hollen's visit do good for his case?
Well, of course, according to the Trump administration, they downplayed it today. They actually mocked it today.
Did.
I think you may have seen in an this is a little disturbing, an official White House tweet or X thing, which came out
social.
Yeah, wherever they put it. But it was it wasn't from the president. It was from the White House, basically taking a New York Times headline, which said that the two of them had met, and all sorts of sort of crossing it off with crayon, and he's never coming back, and all this other kind of stuff. Again, it just raises the question. This is the White House. Is that the image that if you're the White House you want to be sending? But how much good did it do? Well, look, there's a lot of Democrats in the House who said they're going to go out and visit Garcia. But take that comment in that White House Truth Social thing. He's never coming back. So you have a court who's basically said, bring him back. You've had a Supreme Court that has said you have to facilitate bringing him back. And of course, we saw in a meeting earlier this week when the president sat with the president of El Salvador, Stephen Miller pontificated about this Supreme Court ruling, completely wrong in the way he described it, saying the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Trump administration 9-0. Sorry, Stephen, 9-0 the other way. What the court said was, no, everybody's entitled to this due process. He gets a hearing. This whole thing is all about facilitating versus effectuating, and the Trump administration has said, as Pam Bondi said, we'll send a plane, but they won't let him go. And then you have the dictatorial leader of El Salvador saying, I can't send him back. I have no power.
And a $15 million payment.
And getting $15 million apparently has been received so far. And of course, one of the questions Van Hollen raised, not a bad one, which is who authorized this? Congress controls the purse strings. So once again, I always step in because, of course, our viewers are always in contact after these segments. I get that people love the president. I get that you like what he's doing. I get that you want it. It's not what this is about. This isn't about that you like the result. This is about it has to be done the way the United States does things, and we use the law and the rule of law and due process. And that really is the disturbing thing about this, is the administration is sidestepping the law and sidestepping due process to get what they want. The bottom line is, will Garcia ever make his way back? I don't know. But one thing that should happen is he should make his way back, and if a court determines that he needs to go again, then he goes again.
Let's talk about some more immigration topics that are going on. You say that an American citizen is being detained by ICE in Florida, even after showing the judge's birth certificate.
Yeah. Well, there was also a doctor in Pennsylvania who got
Pennsylvania,
picked up
right.
today. I think her name is Anderson. She got an email saying you need to leave the country. She's an American. Born now, so it's a mistake. Yes, it is a mistake.
Well, so was the Maryland man, Kilmer Abrego Garcia,
and
right?
that's exactly
a clerical
the
error,
right? And with Kilmer, now the administration is, Trump today during a part of his press briefings, he said, "I have a paper here," and he's starting to go through history. None of that history was detailed at the time all this came down. They're doing some searching now and whatever. That's fine. But the bottom line is, yes, mistakes get made. That's the reason that due process is so important. If you're an American like this physician who says get out of the country, what if she doesn't get a hearing? What if we don't have time for you to complain? You need to get on that plane and go to a prison in El Salvador. She's an American citizen.
So are people just helpless right now?
Well, they're trying to get lawyers, and of course that takes us back to the law firm comment, which of course for the last couple of weeks I've been complaining about, which is the law firms who are too weak to stand up to the administration. That's not a political comment about the administration. That's a comment about lawyers and a comment about law firms. As I said last week, I think Shakespeare said, "You want to tear down the government, then first kill all the lawyers," essentially. And that's what the administration is doing. So you finally have some law firms standing up, but you have many law firms, and here's the thing, they got snookered a little bit because the law firms who said, "Okay, Mr. President, we'll give you $40 million, $100 million of pro bono service and they described it as, these nonprofit pro bono causes. So we're all thinking we're helping the poor and we're helping the homeless. And Trump has made it clear since then, now you might be handling some of these trade negotiations we're working on. The problem is that a lot of people are leaving the Department of Justice. They're quitting. So they need the lawyers. So now all of a sudden, these big law firms, you're going to negotiate the trade. You're going to handle these immigration things. And by the way, let me just, if I may, take this to what could be a real situation. Suppose a law firm strikes a deal with the president, but then takes one of these cases, right? They're going to represent somebody before the government. And then during discovery, they come across some documents or some information that makes the Trump administration look bad. What do? Are they going to take a risk to go, well, I'm representing you, then this has to come out? Or do they say to their client, maybe we shouldn't go here. Maybe we should put this aside because, we've got an important relation with the Trump administration. That's why so many of these law firms, and I understand why they're doing it, law firms who do corporate work, they have less concerns as far as losing their clients. It's the litigation firms that would be making a huge mistake to give into the administration. You hire a lawyer, you want them to fight for you. You don't want a lawyer who goes, hey, I can get you out of this for $40 million.
Wow. Let's talk about another subject here. Institutions of higher learning, Harvard, Northwestern, a number of others are going up.
You said Big Ten, and that is right, but there's about 18 that are actually pitching. So yes, I know it's called the Big Ten. Right.
But anyway, the bottom line is they're going up against the president here. Funding is one thing, but a tax-exempt status, that is something entirely different.
So that's really critical, Ray, what is going on, and very important that the schools are going to band together. I'll say why.
But you hear what happened for Harvard tonight, though?
Yeah,
Breaking
maybe
news.
a mistake there.
They made a mistake with Harvard. They're saying they made a mistake by sending Harvard the letter, and they never should have sent it.
Again, that's why you need due process. But Harvard stood up. Other universities have not. The bottom line is, and I think, again, you've outlined the important points. It's one thing to cut off funding. Harvard will survive a funding cut. Northwestern, other schools, they would survive a funding cut because they have such rich donors and supporters. Of course they do. But when you take the next step, see, and it looks to me the Trump administration is ready for every step of this, right? They were ready to go, and now we're going after your tax-exempt status. Forget the fact, by the way, that there's also to be a line of independence between the executive administration and the IRS. So for the administration to step in and say, I want you to investigate and explore the tax status of this university, things aren't supposed to work that way. Of course, the IRS is already taking steps to do that. That's the kind of thing that would really hurt a university. Because now if there are donors who say, oh, I give you $1 million every year, say, wait, I can't deduct this. There's no tax benefits. I'm not sure I can help anymore. Important that the universities stand together because they all don't have the same resources to go forward.
What's coming up on your show this week?
So this weekend, we've got Representative Lauren Underwood, Congresswoman. I'm going to see whether or not maybe she'll run for Dick Durbin's job if he steps down. Who knows? We'll see what she says. Talking about the town halls, what is she hearing from people, and the budget. Also, new 35th Ward Alderman Anthony Quesada will be on. 11 people voted against him because of that tweet he issued a couple of years ago that had a racial slur. I'm going to talk to him about that and see what he has to say about it, along with issues in the ward. And then I always like to plug the midday show next Tuesday. I'm going to interview an author named Elaine Weiss, who wrote a book called Spell Freedom. You'd love love this. Back in the 50s, there were secret schools that were set up in the back of stores, in the back of places where people were being taught, where African Americans were being taught how to read, how to sign their name so that they could vote, so they could get more rights. This is like a history that nobody's ever heard of before. We're going to talk about that Tuesday, 11:45.
Very busy. Paul Lisnick, good
Yeah.
to see you. Thanks for
Thank you,
coming
guys.
in.